Another rough outing for a Cardinals starting pitcher. Is this just early season jitters, or is this a sign of things to come all season? We'll talk about it today on Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffer, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter at JD Sports Radio. You can follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. I want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, as well as YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment. That way you can interact with us. Hit the notification button. That way you know when new episodes are going up and are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode is being brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Another rough start. Last night, the Cardinals and the Braves began their three-game series at Busch Stadium, and it was the much-anticipated, at least in my eyes, first start for Jake Woodford this year, who was thrust into this starting rotation after the Adam Wainwright injury. Got hurt working out while he was with Team USA at the World Baseball Classic. And it's not like Jake Woodford was just somebody they're like, I guess bring in Woodford. I mean, the guy is definitely worthy of taking that spot in the rotation. He earned it this spring by outpitching the competition, namely Dakota Hudson. Woodford was outstanding in spring training outside of, one appearance? I mean, he was basically almost unhittable during spring training. He led the team in innings pitched and strikeouts. Absolutely deserved to take over the sixth-man long relief role from Dakota Hudson, who got knocked around in the spring and couldn't throw strikes. But spring training is a lot different than the regular season. These lineups that he's going to see in the major leagues, they're made up of the team's full rosters now. You're not going to get a AAA and sometimes AA player sprinkled into that lineup to make life a little bit easier for the pitchers. And when it comes to the Braves lineup, well, they boast one of the top rosters in the league. They are a team that is expected to compete for a World Series title this year, just like the Blue Jays, who were just in town for the previous series. These are good lineups. And to lose to Toronto or to lose to Atlanta, it's not something that you should be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. They're not bottom feeders in Major League Baseball like some other teams are. It's not, and I don't mean to call people out, but it's not the Pirates and it's not the Nationals this year. Teams that aren't spending a lot of money and don't have as much talent. I mean, the Blue Jays and the Braves have spent a lot of money to build these rosters. So losing to them, it's not something to be ashamed of, but you would have liked to seen a better outing. And last night, Jake Woodford, I don't want to say he got exposed, but he clearly was having some trouble in the first couple of innings there, keeping the ball down in the zone. That was the big problem last night. Woodford, not an overpowering, flame-throwing type of pitcher who can get away with throwing the ball up in the zone. He's just not that guy. He can't blow a fastball past hitters. That's not his game. He, like most of the Cardinal starters, rely on good command, keeping it down in the zone to force hitters to put the ball in play and let the Cardinals' stellar defense take care of the rest. Now, sure, he was striking out guys in spring training, and that was great. We like seeing that, but he's not the swing and miss guy. He's just not that guy by any means. And like most people who throw a sinker ball as one of their top pitches, if you can't get the ball down, you're going to get hurt. And that's exactly what happened to him on Monday night against the Braves. Ronald Acuna Jr. starts things off with an infield single. But seriously, the weak contact hits, man. I'm seeing more of these so far this year than I can remember. Is it just me, or is it happening more and more often, at least to the Cardinals so far? It's kind of been unreal so far this season. But the Braves, they get excited, and they're like, you know what? Ronald's over there on first base. Why don't we go ahead and test the arm of one Wilson Contreras? And Wilson Contreras says, Thank you. I'm more than happy to be tested. Promptly guns Acuna out at second base for trying to steal. For those keeping track at home, that is now 2 steal attempts against Willie. And the scoreboard reads Wilson Contreras 2, would-be thieves 0. Here's a picture of him up on YouTube right now, showing that emotion and that excitement that attracted the Cardinals to Wilson Contreras in the first place, because that's something that Yachty would do. That's the kind of attitude they want from behind the plate. Contreras has a cannon, man. He's got an absolute cannon. If pitchers can keep these guys close, they're going to have a tough time running on them, just like they had a tough time running on Molina all those years. Woodford then punches out star first baseman Matt Olson, which isn't shabby at all. Olson having a good start to the year, and it seems like business as usual. Here we go. But then he falls behind Austin Riley, fights back to a full count, and then he decides to leave a 3-2 fastball over the heart of the plate, and he puts it right up in the top of the zone too. Just a meatball, basically. And Austin Riley absolutely murders this ball. He absolutely murders it. Travels an estimated 473 feet away over the left center field wall into the stands. Like the jokes were that it was going to go out of the stadium. I mean, it was a freaking bomb. Makes it 1-0. Just an incredible display of power from Riley, who hit a lot of home runs last year. So it's not a shocker that he's gonna put one over the wall. But 473 feet, wow. One of those homers that if it was like a cartoon, like the seams on the ball probably would have busted and the guts would have went flying out like streamers at a birthday party. Longest home run hit at this version of Busch Stadium during the StatCast era, which began in 2015 and had an exit velo of 113.3. It's the second longest home run on the season thus far. I know we're early on here, but it is second longest behind Giancarlo Stanton's 485-foot tank shot that he hit on Sunday. I don't know if you guys saw that one, but that went a long way. Kind of fitting that he hit this monstrous blast off the Cardinals, because Mark Saxon wrote at MLB.com that this particular style of bat that Riley uses is called the Marucci AP5 Maple model. Did you catch it? Did you catch it in there? AP5. Yep. It is the model designed for Cardinals legend Albert Pujols. So he's using a bat that was designed for Albert, and he hit the ball a long way just like Albert used to. But the long ball had just begun for the Braves. It wasn't just Austin Riley. The Cardinals tied in the bottom of the first after manufacturing a run following a couple of hits, which was great to see. Top of the second, Atlanta does more yard work. Second baseman Ozzie Albies, he gets a fastball up in the zone again and hits one so high that I think people at the top of the arch were probably like eye level with that ball. I mean, that thing was just, it looked like it was a straight up pop up, and it just kept going and going, and it carried, and eventually it landed over the wall in right field, despite 6'6" rookie right fielder Jordan Walker giving his best attempt to try to bring it back. It was a valiant effort. That made it 3-1. And when I watched the end of that play, I was like, you know what? I didn't think about this. I wonder how many Walker's going to steal out there in the outfield that's in his career. 6'6", still growing. He's only 20, probably going to put on maybe another inch. And that's a big dude. And he's got that massive wingspan and get it over the wall. But he needs to talk to Jimmy Edmonds about robbing balls from being home runs, because Jimmy was fantastic at it. And if he can learn a couple of hints from him, he might be able to take some of these back over his career. Probably going to get a few of them, you would think. Woodford strikes out former Cardinal Marcell Ozuna next, but then a single, then a double. That brings in Ronald Acuna Jr. Again, one of the best hitters in all of baseball. And I know people give Jim Edmonds a lot of grief for talking too much during the podcast. Personally, I kind of enjoy his insight. I guess it's the nerd in me, because I love listening to him talk about the art of hitting and how he used to play the field and stuff. I get it. Sometimes he can be, he talks a little bit more, but I don't seem to have a problem with it. I think it's because I grew up, my father was a very talkative man, so I think I'm used to it. But he even said during that at bat with Ronald Acuna, he's like, okay, he keeps going away, and Acuna was lunging that way, and instead Woodford needed to try to bust him inside, and he actually did that on the next pitch. That was the fourth pitch of the at-bat. He goes inside. Acuna fouls it off, but pitch number 5 is a breaking ball. It's up in the zone, up and away. And then Acuna blasts it, knocks it over the wall as well, deposits it over that right field wall, blowing things open and making it 6-1. The thing is, the long ball is not normally a problem for Jake Woodford. In fact, the 3 home runs off of him matched the total that he allowed in all of 2022 at the major league and minor league level. So this is not something that normally happens to him. Woodford settled down after this inning, but the damage obviously had been done. And the whole time, he just didn't look really that comfortable out there, did he? At least it seemed like to me. It seemed like he was off balance a lot. And I don't know. It just didn't look right. It didn't look like the way he looked in the spring where he was just cutting it loose. It looked like maybe he was trying to aim the ball. I don't know. Obviously, the pitches stayed up in the zone, which is not a normal thing for him. It could be jitters with his first game, mechanical issues. I'm sure they'll get it ironed out, whatever it is. It continued what has been a disturbing start to the season and a disturbing trend for the Cardinals rotation so far, who haven't had a starter make it past the 5th inning yet. Granted, it's only been 4 games, but that's the truth of the matter. They haven't done that yet. They're wearing out this bullpen already, and fans are already starting to point fingers and doing the "I told you so." And you have every right to feel that way. You really do. But maybe let's dial it back just a little bit about Mo. You're terrible. I can't believe that you put this team. Hold on. Just hold on. We're only 4 games into this, okay? We've got 158 more games to go during the regular season, and if the starters look like this come mid-May, if they're still having these problems, then yes, let's bang the hell out of that panic button. Hell, I will lead the charge and we'll go figure something out. But for me, it's still too early to be all bent out of shape about this. It's one start from each of these guys who are coming back from, spring training and the World Baseball Classic. A lot of starters are struggling here in the first 2 weeks of the season. It's not just the Cardinals, okay? So pump the brakes a little bit. Just slow down. Let's see how they get through the rest of April before we start freaking out. A guy that I am concerned about, though, one that I'm totally fine with talking about, we're going to do that next, is Jordan Hicks, because he don't look so good. So we're going to get into that on Locked On Cardinals. Buying tickets to your favorite events, that should not be something that's a problem. And it should be a stressful thing. You should be able to go to your favorite events. You should be able to get tickets and not have to freak out about that. Gametime, they're there to help. Fast and easiest way to buy your tickets for all events. We're talking sports, music, comedy, theater, with great deals on last minute tickets and their best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over the tickets that you're looking for and start getting excited for the fun that you're about to have. Forget planning months in advance. That's out the window. Gametime has got deals on tickets right up to the day of the event with exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater. I was looking at the concert calendar today for shows that are going to be around, and a lot of cool bands are coming, and I want to get out there and see them. I want to enjoy this summer, and you can too. So check out Gametime. They've got the Gametime guarantee. Means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime's not going to just say, well, that's too bad. No, they're going to give you a credit. They're going to credit you 110% of the difference. Tickets sent directly to your phone, no longer having to fumble and dig through your old emails. Get the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Last night, the Cardinals battled back to cut the lead to 6-3 in the 4th inning, thanks to 3 straight singles by Gorman, O'Neill, and Walker, and then fielder's choice ground out by Donovan. And, with the Cardinals offense, a 3-run deficit, not insurmountable by any means. That's one thing that I will say. So far, we know that this team's going to be able to hit, and when leads go to 2, 3, 4, 5 runs, I'm not really all that concerned about it. But as you get later in the game, obviously, you're running out of chances to catch up. But 3-run deficit in the 4th inning, there's plenty of time to come back. Woodford gives away to Zach Thompson in the 5th inning, and Thompson looked great. He looked great again. He goes 1 2/3 innings. He only walks 1, punches out 2. Still no earned runs through the spring and regular season so far. Then Jordan Hicks comes in. And once again, Jordan Hicks, gasoline on the fire. He struggles again. He allows 2 runs on 3 hits in the 7th inning. 2 of those hits on pitches up in the zone. Again, he's a sinker ball pitcher, just like Woodford. If you're going to be up in the zone, you're going to get hit. And it doesn't matter if you throw 102, 103. These guys will eventually get used to it and time you up and hit you. They're the best in the world, and that's what they are going to do. It doesn't matter how hard you throw. And you get it up there. He gives up the hits. I will give him credit on one. Okay, the Travis d'Arnaud double, that was just good hitting. That was just good hitting by him because that sinker was low and in, 101 miles an hour, and he somehow lines that into right field. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he got the bat on it, but he did. Nothing you can do there. You can't yell at Jordan about that one. But that seventh inning all but puts the game out of reach. It's now 8-3. Hicks stays in for the eighth inning. He walks a guy, but no other damage is done. A lot of people started hitting me up on Twitter and asking me, why the hell is Jordan Hicks in this game right now? What is he doing out there? He obviously hasn't been very good so far this season. My guess is the fact that you're down 3 runs. You know you're going to need Jordan Hicks this season. He's part of the equation for this bullpen. Down 3, bring him in. This is a good opportunity for him to maybe get back on track. So I think I'd rather Jordan Hicks come in there in that situation, already down 3, than to come into the game with the team up 2 runs and then blow the lead. I would rather not risk that while he's still trying to figure things out because he had a tough spring. He's had a tough regular season so far. I don't know what's going on with him, but we got to get that figured out because his stuff is too good to get knocked around like this. Offensively, last night, you look at the box score, you see 12 hits sitting there, which is good, right? But only 4 runs. That's bad. And you get one of those runs on a Paul Goldschmidt solo dinger, his first of the year. So not great hitting last night with runners in scoring position. In fact, they go 1 for 11. So not great. They strand 11 guys on base. Normally, this offense, it's good. It won't have that issue. But it happened last night. It did. Rob Raines from STLSportsPage.com pointed out that the 2 hits from Goldschmidt gave him a 4-game multi-hit streak to begin the season. The first Cardinal to do that since the Wizard, Ozzie Smith, back in 1989. The team record for consecutive multi-hit games to begin a season is 6 by Curt Flood back in 1962. Goldie is now hitting 500 on the year so far. Nolan Arenado, 2 more hits and an RBI. He's at 333. How about the other Nolan? The better Nolan right now? No, I'm kidding. But Nolan Gorman, seriously, zoned in at the moment. 2 for 3 on the night. He gets another walk. He's batting 500. His OBP third in the league right now at 647, and he's tied for third in the league in walks with 5. He's got 5. Somehow, Miguel Vargas, who? From the Dodgers, has 9 walks already this year in 18 plate appearances. What? What's going on there? How's he doing it? Tyler O'Neill with 2 hits. He's over 300 now. Walker, Edman, Contreras, Burleson, they all get hits. The only one left out last night was Brendan Donovan. So the offense, it's fine. We're not freaking out about that. Just need to work on this starting pitching. John Denton made this tweet earlier today where the Cardinals starters ranked thus far on the season in Major League Baseball. Tied for 18th in the league in wins. They only got 2. 24th in ERA. The ERA is at 7.13. 26th in innings pitched, which is 17.2. 18th in hits allowed. 12th in home runs allowed. 24th in walks. The home runs allowed, that all happened last night, so I'm not going to worry about that. They held the Blue Jays without a home run over the weekend, so that one's kind of silly. 24th in walks. They've walked 11 guys, and then just 22nd in Ks with 16. So it's got to be better. It just must be better, and I'm guessing it will get there, but we're going through some early season growing pains here with the starting rotation, and hopefully things will get better here real soon. Speaking of getting better, we've got an update on Lars Nootbaar's thumb, the thumb injury, which we found out about last night, and we'll also give you a quick little preview of tonight's game. We'll do that next on Locked On Cardinals. If you love baseball and you love video games, then I've got a game for you. Pro Baseball GM combines your dream of being a Major League GM with the fun and enjoyment of a video game. At one point or another, you've probably thought that taking over as the Cardinals general manager would be easy. You can do better than Mo. He's making all the wrong moves. You can do better than that. Turns out it's not all that simple, and you'll be in charge of managing every strategic aspect of your team. You're going to play through the season. You're going to lead your team to glory, or you're going to get canned because it has happened. Not to me yet, but some of the other Locked On hosts have already been fired from their teams. Not naming any names, Houston and Oakland. Hiring the right coaches and staff. You got to manage the finances. You got to do the scouting, the drafting. You got to deal with their personalities. You got to do free agency, the ups and downs of a season. All of this in a challenging and realistic game world. Ultimate Baseball GM is completely free and playable offline, which is an added bonus. That means you can play on the go as you want and when you want. Locked On Cardinals listeners, you're getting a 100% free boost to your franchise when using the promo Locked On in the game store. So make sure to check it out. Download the game by visiting probaseballgm.com. Scan the code, which is below, or you can look it up on the app stores. That's probaseballgm.com. Ultimate Baseball GM. Start your dynasty today. Bad news just before the game last night. Outfielder Lars Nootbaar was placed on the 10-day injured list retroactive to March 31st, and the team's called up Juan Yepez to take his spot. Now, Newt injured that thumb sliding into third base on opening day and just hadn't seen much improvement since. And by yesterday, the team was like, all right, well, you're not getting any better yet, so let's shut you down because we've still got you on the roster, and we're basically playing a man down because he's having trouble not only hitting the ball in batting practice, dealing with pain there, but also dealing with pain while he was just shagging fly balls because it's his which glove is it? It's his left. So anyway, but he said he was giving him pain while he was shagging fly balls. So that's not good. You don't want that. It's on his glove hand. So they shut him down. Left thumb contusion, and it's first 2 weeks of the season. There's no need to push it. You've got plenty of depth in the outfield to fill the void while he's gone. So really not a major issue here, but it sucks because you only had him for 1 day and you don't know what your normal everyday lineup looks like without Nootbaar in there. Yepez just 1 for 11 at Memphis with 4 strikeouts so far. So not sure how quick he'll be in the lineup, but the team is facing a left-handed pitcher tonight in rookie Dylan Dodd, who, by the way, is making his major league debut. He's from Elk Grove, Illinois, which is about a half hour from Chicago. He actually went to my alma mater, Southeast Missouri State. So he was a Red Hawk, and that's down in Cape Girardeau for those of you who aren't familiar. OVC Pitcher of the Year back in 2021, ended up being a third-round pick of Atlanta. He's got a good fastball, which has been able to top out at 97, but usually rests around 93, 94. He also throws a slider. He's got a changeup. What makes him good and has got him to this level is his command. He just doesn't walk people. That's just not his thing. Rarely walks hitters, so he's kind of similar to how Miles Michaelis is, okay? Miles Michaelis doesn't have the overpowering stuff, but he can dot you around the zone, and that's what makes him good. So boys better be ready to swing the lumber tonight because he's gonna be around the plate. He'll be the first left-handed starter they've seen this year, so perhaps we might see a more right-handed dominant lineup. Hard to take Gorman or Donovan out of the lineup, but maybe Carlson gets a start tonight. That could be a new name in there because he's only started 1 of the games so far this season. You've got Steven Matz on the mound for the Cardinals after his injury-marred season last year. Had an outstanding spring, looked great, looked healthy, was in great shape. Let's hope we keep seeing what he was doing in the spring tonight at Busch Stadium and get the Cardinals back in that win column. By the way, before we bounce, speaking of winning, I wanted to put this up here. Check out the picture of the Jordan Walker family at the game. You got dad and you got mom there in the middle, and then grandma over there on the right there, cheering on their boy. Pretty darn cool there. I don't know if Jordan will be in the lineup tonight, come to think about it, because he struggled against left-handers all spring. So maybe this is the first game he doesn't start. We'll have to see. Lineup should be coming out soon. But this is why Ollie gets paid the big bucks and not me. Also wanted to wish Scott Rowland a happy 48th birthday today to the Cardinals and baseball Hall of Famer Scott Rowland. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen. Now for your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Win your league by listening to Matt and Dom every day as they break down and give you the best fantasy baseball knowledge possible. Find Locked On Fantasy Baseball wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Like and subscribe on YouTube. You are the best fans in baseball for a reason. Enjoy the game tonight, and I will see you tomorrow on Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked